Hey guys, Kevin Cochran here. So this is the question that I get asked the most, it seems like, regarding technology. This is my Livescope setup. So I utilize the track system, and in the track system I have the TrackStack arm and then the TrackStack pole. And you'll notice here that the bottom of the pole I have a ram mount, and that attaches to my Livescope transducer. So the transducer has an any-glide support to support the cord itself to prevent any pull-out from the transducer to the cord. The ram mount setup on the base here gives you infinite ability to change the angle and to go from forward, perspective, and down imaging. So you'll notice that I have two collars, and I use this as almost like a shallow setting. So if I'm in less than, say, 15 feet of water, I'm going to use this setting, and also if there's aquatic vegetation too, that's a setting I use. Deeper break lines and trolling purposes, I'm using that setting, and you can see how far in the water that gets. So regarding the arm itself, it sits in the track and it moves everywhere with me. In addition, I can take this arm and move it all the way to the bow of the boat, which I can do now. And this sits in a 6-inch track in the bow of your boat. So a lot of times what I do is, if I'm scanning spots, if I'm just looking for muskies, whether that would be out over open water, deep break lines, or shallow water, I'll put this in the bow of my boat with the appropriate collar setting. And this almost acts as a set of headlights for your boat. So you can spot muskies roughly 100 feet away with this, which is pretty incredible. And I would highly recommend putting a small piece of track out there. So, years ago I used to use the side imaging in a similar setup at the bow of my boat as well. And that gave me the ability to see what's up ahead, whether that would be structure or whether it would be muskies. This is going to give you, the angler in the bow the best chance at catching a fish, because if I move this to the back, then it would be 15 feet or 18 feet behind us. So definitely I run this in the bow setting a lot, especially when I'm searching and also when I'm casting too. So this is my arm, it's my TrackStack arm, and this thing can take a lot of abuse. I could go 8 miles per hour with it without any serious flexing. And even this thing has walked itself out of the tracks before, and it was found on Highway 2 by a state trooper. It was ran over multiple times. So these can handle a lot of abuse. One thing that I did was I had my friend that owned a machine shop machine an insert, put that inside of here, and then I use a thumb screw adjustment. What that does is it gives you infinite ability to adjust the angle on your collar. So you can see with this collar right here, this is a Gen 1 collar, and that's a Generation 2 collar. So coming from TrackStack now, the new collars have all of these holes pre-drilled, and the current plunger system that's in there works just fine. So I had to do this because I didn't want the 90 degrees of adjustability. I wanted infinite adjustability. You can see that the collars do slip. You're going to want to carry an Allen wrench and maybe even a little bit of Loctite once you have your collar setting to where you want it. I would highly recommend ordering at least another spare collar just for that shallow water setting capabilities. So I run a 60 AH amped battery, and this lithium actually powers The entire Livescope system, it powers my Garmin 12, my Garmin 10, and my Hummingbird 10 as well. And there's a lot of power, and I think I can run 16 hours off of that with everything running. Okay, so this view right here is called perspective view. A lot of times what I do is if I'm scanning spots and I want like a wider field of view, I'll use this view. I'll run it in the deep setting. Typically, perspective isn't going to get you down deep. So if you're fishing, the fish are in, or if they're staged, or you're going to fish in an area that's less than like 17, 18 feet, this is what I would recommend using, the perspective view. Anything deeper than that, then you're going to have issues if the fish are deeper than 15 feet in the water column. So this is perspective view. I run a lot of spots, a lot of break lines, weed beds, structure area with this. So this is on the port side of my pole, and this is going to be forward view. So forward view, this right here is parallel to the bottom of your pole. So I run this on the port side of my pole, and in forward view you have a narrower cone angle, but you're going to get that depth too. So you're going to be able to see, once you set it on the appropriate setting, you're going to be able to see the bottom of the lake and the structure that you're fishing. But then again, very narrow cone angle. I think it's 18 degrees. Right? I could be wrong. It could be 16 to 18 degrees. So, I do use forward view a lot when I'm trolling as well. So I can look at my baits when I'm trolling, and then also if I want to search deeper water, then I'll use the forward view. Okay, this is called down view. So now this line right here is parallel to the bottom of my pole. So when I run this, typically I'm jigging, and it's going to give a view where it's not shooting out and forward in front of the transducer. It's not a perspective view, but it's just imagine like here's the center point, and then the beam is shooting down from the center of this transducer right here. So typically what I do here, I do almost strictly, this is just my jigging option right here. So when I'm jigging deeper water, this is what I run. So regardless of how many fish you mark in a day, some days we'll mark upwards of 30 or 40 fish, and we'll drive miles and miles of break lines and spots. Regardless of all these factors, they're still muskies. Even if you cast at 30 or 40 fish in a day, you know, sometimes you just won't catch a fish. So keep that in mind. One thing I will say is try to make contact with as many fish as you possibly can, because if you start camping on fish and they're inactive, then you're not going to get bites. So another thing, if you have like questions, feel free to reach out to me. I try to cover my setup, a brief tutorial on how I run spots, and how I set up my transducer and what I do with it. But if you still have questions, just feel free to reach out to me. Thorns does have these coming. They're on order. They're a TraxTech dealer, so they have all the TraxTech stuff. As you can see, TraxTech is really the only thing that I run on my boat, just for the simple fact that it takes a lot of abuse, and I can run this pull setup at least 8 miles per hour. So my goal as a muskie guide, a muskie angler, is to put my clients in front of as many fish as I possibly can. And this pole setup will do that because it can handle all the speed that I can put it through safely. So that's it, guys.